can't come out.
And it was like parallel with my weight loss was like my faith growing. Like I'd started going to church. Like I feel like that's what I said when you lot were like leaving Glory House. Like with all that stuff that happened with Pastor and the controversy. The irony is,
he ruined me.
Mad.
He ruined me.
Mad.
Well, no, he didn't do nothing to me. I'm saying he ruined me in the sense that,
But you said that
I remember my faith was mad strong. It was so strong to the point where when he did it, me and Isaac were like, yo, we're still going to go to church.
Yeah.
Obviously, we follow God. We don't follow no pastor,
Yeah, but it
isn't
starts to distract you.
But then it was like, raw, man. It's like mad. Because I remember certain times, obviously, I was still on vibes. I'll go on vibes. But church was a non-negotiable. So I would go there all
you
the
lot
time,
were serious,
bro.
man. Isaac was preaching to me every minute.
Yeah.
And I was still like, I feel like I was definitely condemned in that time. So I used to feel like, because what happened, you know, Fran, like I said, she is a G for real. Like, I didn't make it to be ACS president, but she kind of took me under her wing and just loved on me anyway. And like second year, there was some like tough moments for me. And like, I remember going to her because she had a church in Wembley.
What tough moments? Fuck it. Go on then.
Am I willing to?
Just to let you know, it's 9:17.
Yeah.
No, it's mad. What happened in uni after? I can't remember.
Can't remember. Okay, don't worry about it.
Don't worry. Yeah, I just remember. No, there was just like a day. She'd always been inviting me to, because her church was in Wembley. And we used to have a midweek service. She would invite me, like, you know, like you had those Christian community people that used to stand outside the rave and just chastise you. And you just thought, you lot are not helpful.
What's his name? Oh, there was one guy.
Something like that. Called some name. Yeah.
I don't remember. This guy used to stand
But this guy will come and steal your
rave. He had a youth wedlock.
Really? See,
yeah, this guy was outside every single rave condemning you, giving you hot chocolate.
And
then ended up having his own
hate.
little baby in it.
And this is what I hate for the narrative of Christianity, because it always feels like you're either presented as the judgy Christians. And I do believe like Jesus is all grace and truth in it. Like some people want to only subscribe to the grace part. And they don't want to obviously hear the truth in it. But I think the way, especially coupled with our culture, you have to understand that so much of what we learned in religion was culture as well. Because the gospel's simple, innit? And like, and the reality of it is a lot of the extra seasonings is just
culture.
It's culture. It's whatever things is like. It's mad because like, yeah, you got those aunties, like when you marry aunties that come. I feel like I'm worried more. I don't know. I don't even know if I'm gonna get. It's so mad. I have to check in with myself to see if I'm indifferent. Sometimes I do think I am, but I feel like that's because right now with me trying to focus on my career and stuff, I'm like, I don't know where I would even fit in a child and a partner. Like I was with somebody that clearly wanted the route for marriage and everything. And like, we broke up in the 2020.
Oh, okay.
And like, it was for a relationship that was nearly not even quite 2 years. We were very like clear and intentional, you know, Christian relationship, all that stuff. You might.
Do I know him? Do you think I know him?
I mean, he went to our uni.
Was he in your year?
Yeah, so you might not know him.
Oh, that's interesting. What's his name?
This can't come out.
Yeah. You see, it's not a this can't come out episode if you don't say this can't come out. Yes, what's his name?
Ladies and gentlemen, this part of the conversation is too spicy to come out.
Yeah.
Oh, we got some church.
Oh, okay.
It was last time he went there.
When was the last time?
Last week Sunday. He wasn't.
What do you mean? I didn't say. I asked when was the last time. I didn't judge you.
Listen, I'm a returner. I'm 4 weeks.
Okay.
Last week Sunday.
Yeah, 4 weeks. I'm full.
Today's Tuesday. You're not Sunday gone.
Yeah. Okay. I'm 4 weeks in since Easter.
I go to church regular.
How? When's the last time you went before that?
Fam, I've been good regular. My daughter got dedicated there.
Okay,
Oh, really?
cool. I'll allow you. I ain't been church in
Time.
ages.
Listen, that was my whole last year.
Last time I went to church is when I bust case.
Wow. What kind of case?
One, I was not guilty. Let me just say that first and foremost.
What kind of case?
It was a.
Ladies and gentlemen, this part of the conversation is too spicy to come out.
I didn't do what they said I did.
But you did something else?
What do you mean? Everyone's done something else. Have you done something else?
No.
Have you committed any crime in your life?
Oh, yeah, of course.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, innit? Yeah. I'm saying, yeah, so what they said I didn't do.
Okay.
But yeah, so.
See, boss case.
Yeah, but same man, isn't it?
Wow.
I even went back for a bit.
Damn it, man.
Two
I mean, I was
times.
part of. I was. When it was in the.
No, Elephant Castle though.
Oh, when they were above Ministry of Sound.
Oh yeah, that's a vibe. That's interesting, isn't it?
Like when they were the small church before they became SPAC Nation, that we now know.
And I felt the Holy Spirit there as well.
No, listen, and this is the mad thing about it, and this is why I get frustrated. No, but this is why I get frustrated because
The preaching is good, and so it's
Yeah.
Like if you connect to what's being preached, bro. Even it's so mad. Even an apostle can still preach to you, and you can still take from it, bro.
Yeah, facts.
Do you know what I'm trying to say?
No, but there's a difference between feeling inspired and the Holy Spirit. I think you might know the difference.
That's why I said just take
But
from
what I'm trying to say is things can start authentically and become like,
Ladies and gentlemen, this part of the conversation is too spicy to come out.
I got saved first. Like after uni, like I said, the whole health journey, my faith journey started at the same time. This lady at the gym was like kind of like a big sister mentor, and then she kind of gave me the opportunity to start doing the mentoring at her workplace, which then kind of blossomed from this like one-off thing. And she was challenged me because I think I'd hit the peak, under 25. I think I'd got to 24, was like that. When the last age to be supported through the youth club to do this stuff because they can get funding. So she was like, why don't you start your own?
Trust type stuff.
It was
trust has to be under 25.
Yeah, but I didn't even consciously, because initially all those things I was doing when I was doing it at the youth club, it was just like the youth club will have their funding and she'll give me money to deliver the project. I wasn't even getting paid for it. I was doing it voluntarily. But when I mean money, the fun money was to deliver the workshop. So I was always volunteering for this thing.
So they weren't even paying. Yes.
When did they?
So they weren't even paying you for your travel.
No, but I got a little youth work wage. But what I'm trying to say was like, and it was do you know what I mean? Little things I would get paid through,
Food,
little
snacks,
things like that. But this is when I'm telling you, it was a passion project. I was just doing this. I had got my first job working in housing. I wasn't necessarily happy there, but it was just, I'd given up on the acting because what had happened was when I started going to,
Is that still on me? Yeah. Okay.
When I started going to identity, like I said, it was just when I got to uni, I just had a bit of money on the side. I thought, you know what? I don't know if my drama teacher even emailed me or something like that, or I saw an advert on Facebook. And I thought, you know what? He'd always been advertising this drama school at the time, but at that time, that was something you had to pay for. And I was like, listen, I can go to these free things, but I can't afford, like, mum can't afford these things. It wasn't even in my priority. I didn't think college, all of that stuff. So when I got to uni, I just thought, you know what? I'd seen it advertised on Facebook. I was like, let me apply. I applied. They did a general audition. And I remember, like, it was only because of the chatty patty guy that was in the audition with me. I never heard anything back. So I just thought, right, I didn't get in. Nothing, no problem, I tried. Then he saw me on Facebook. He's like, they keep calling your name in the register. You ain't turning up. I was like, huh? So I've called up now. And they were like, I think they obviously, whoever was sending me the email spelled it wrong or whatever. Like, it was an error and the email was trying.com, so it was back. So they were like, your place is still there, but you can't join that class because they're doing a play. And they've allocated all the roles, but you can join this other class. And it might have been in my favor because I think it might have been a class slightly below the one I was supposed to join, but they're doing like monologues and duologues. So I've gone in there for the last 8 weeks of the term. And like in week 4, because I'll be coming down similar to Ade, coming down from Brunel, Uxbridge, coming down to Hackney again, literally 5 minutes from my mom's house, and then be going back up because I didn't even stay in like at the house. Me and my mum were cool, but I wouldn't just go and just stay. I'll just go back up to uni. And I remember the head teacher just came into the class one time. He's like, you come to the side. He's like, yeah, I've been hearing you've been late. But he'd come to the class to observe it. But he kind of came, like, bless him. He's an amazing guy. He's pioneered a lot in the industry. But for all of us, his relationship with us was a bit toxic. It was kind of like, when you hear about all these like music geniuses and the person that leads them is almost like, wants you to know you're good enough, but not enough for you to know you're too good so that you might leave. But it was like, he was like, my mum even used to say, he was like, you're God. You know what I mean? And it's a shame.
What?
He was like my God.
Oh, okay.
The place was called Identity. Like, this one can't come out there. I don't know. But the place was called Identity. But I felt like I didn't know mine. But maybe because of the lack of having a father figure, but I wanted to impress him so bad. So without me knowing, this is where I brought up the Bummy story. Everything's starting to match up now. Bummy had just left. She was in EastEnders, and I think she'd left the agency because he was just running a drama school. But through some of these few casting directors giving opportunities for those who didn't go to traditional drama school where they've got the RADA, where they've got the degree, because those places were hard to get into. You needed money because they weren't necessarily funded by student loan back then. So you needed, or full scholarship.
Now are they?
Now you can get student loan to go to drama school.
Oh, right, okay.
But back then, the only way you got into drama school, you'd get or you might have, I don't know, I can't vouch for it, but it was very hard for, like, there was not a lot of black people getting into drama schools. It was often because there's so much privatized things. When you now get into the school, there's so many things that you pay for. I feel like student loan didn't fully cover it, but or you needed a scholarship to cover some additional parts. And it was an audition process, which, think about it, if you've gone up the normal national curriculum side, you're not even knowing, unless your parents have been plugging you into stage school and certain things like that. A lot of the kids in our environments aren't knowing that these opportunities exist to go to drama school. Now they are, and things have changed. So this is what I'm trying to say. No one's gonna know, you know what I mean, apart from the music class, the instruments, parents didn't just, not all, but generically, a lot of people's parents didn't just go, come and play piano. It was, unless it was being done in your school, you didn't get access to it outside of that. So that's when he pulled me to the side and he was just like, yeah, you've been late a few times. I'm like, yeah, I'm traveling. And he called me, he's like, look at these eyelashes, why have you got these eyelashes on? And I used to wear makeup. Like, it was weird. Like, before he praised me, he called me out. Like, yeah, it was just like, look what you're wearing. Like, because this whole thing, when we went to the drama school, you had to wear all black. We wore the identity t-shirt. It was kind of like stripping away who you are to kind of be in a drama school. It's kind of taking a bit of what was they did in the drama school.
Ward, did he go there as well?
No. By this time,
I know a guy called Necker that went there.
Bare people would have gone there. I'm telling you, most black actors would have gone through the path, and like, they're pioneers in what they've done. Don't get it twisted. Like, I remember him back in the days. Imagine he's the underdog. Like, like, he'll be trying to get us.
What, Femi? What do you mean?
Femi Oggins. He's the one that he's the
Adulthood. That guy.
No, not that Femi.
Femi who?
His name's Ogden.
Oh, okay.
Oggins, yeah. So he runs the school, but you have to remember, at a time, you have to think now where you've got, you know, the process of auditions. You'd only get an audition if you went to a particular, like, you'd had to come from a particular drama school, particular, you know, you needed to have an agent. So he had started, because he's got this fresh fire talent in the school, but they're quote unquote unhinged. No, they're not unhinged. They're not. They haven't gone through the traditional path. So it's like having smart people, but it's like music. Going, oh, you can't do music because you didn't go to music school. But I can sing. Do you understand? You can teach me the principles of music on all these things afterwards. You know, it's like we've got instrumentalists that play music by ear, but they can't read music. But play them something, they're sicker than so-and-so Joe Bloggs that's been reading music since he's 4. Do you understand? It's an access thing. And this is kind of where it parallel with my passion for Women After Greatness. Is an access thing. Is like, oh, you're talking about these girls are sending naked photos and they're ending up teenage pregnancies. It's an access thing. What is there, you know? And our parents are fighting for their lives, in the sense of like, they're making ends. They're trying to survive.
Food. So that those little details that do matter.
Yeah. Like, our parents' priorities are to send you to stage school. Like, obviously,
trying to keep you alive.
Do you know what I mean? Trying to keep you alive. Do you understand? Some of the things that we're thinking, why are you sending me to do this and go here and Saturday school and doing this and whatever? That was what they knew. I'm not saying parents didn't try, but to be fair, it's like on the priority of list after feeding you, clothing you, keeping a roof over your head, like, all these extracurricular things might not make it into the list. And it's not that they didn't love you, they just could. It's an access thing. So then sometimes it's like, yeah, I can sit on my high horse now and tell my mum sometimes about some of the ways I thought she parented me, but I recognize it was an access thing. It was a lack of confidence thing. It was a lack of,
and you know, the first.
And I was the first trial and error kids. Yeah. Yo, trial and error kids. Like, you know what I mean?
Is that a thing?
Yo, it's a terpity and terror. I think it is.
That's cold.
I'm like, trial and error. Firstborns are trial and error. You just work it out, innit?
Absolutely, man, innit? Like, yeah, my parents, they fucked up in many ways, but I guess, like you said, you reach a point where
you get parents, in this generation, you get the people that with their first kids, you know, here I am feeding, you know, I love, one of my favourite pastimes is watching little kids baby wean on TikTok. Baby Roo. Do you know about Baby Roo?
No, what's that?
She's like a toddler. I think she's like 1.5 now. But her mum you watched her since the age of 6 months. And her mum's been like introducing her to solids. But it's called baby-led weaning, where you give them the food and you watch them eat. And even that that's a privilege, you know, because if you think, my friend's been practicing it with her baby, and sometimes she's like, I just haven't got the patience. So she'll spoon feed him. Because think about it. You mean, just sit there, you got to watch the child, see how they're eating, see if they like certain things, see if they're allergic to things, see if they don't choke. That's time when auntie's got to go for night shift.
Just to watch though, I would love to watch.
But it's so, oh my god, I will show you afterwards.
Like when they eat lemons.
Yeah. They'll give them taste, introducing your kids to, and people, and it's just, I discovered her like maybe just before she turned 1. But it's just my favourite pastime. I'm literally watching kids eat food.
TikTok's the devil.
But then the people always joke, oh, by the time you have your 4th kid, you won't do that. Like, my friend's got 3 boys. And she's like, yeah, you know all the things that you're worried about first child. You're like, oh, so it works. I feel with this generation, their firstborns, they're like, oh my God, got to do this, take them to bed. And then by the second, oh, you guys go and play together. But obviously that's, so trial and error stuff happened. But all of these things were just matching up. So went to the drama school, was just there, you know, just doing, did the showcase. And I remember before I even did the showcase, he came to the class that day. He's like, yeah, I've been hearing you're late. I've been, you know, why are you coming with eyelashes and makeup and all this stuff? And these are obviously my insecurities. This is how I'm 19. I'm from Hackney. I'm just kind of, you know what I mean? This is how I used to look. How you would have said, I look stush or whatever I was to you in uni. I'm just coming in as I am. And then he was like, okay, can you sing? And I was like, a little bit. He's like, sing something. And I was like, happy birthday. Like, I was like, when I tell you, it was just a weird way, me not knowing that he had every intention of signing me to the agency. But it was like, I would have thought I was in trouble.
Is that what he was doing?
Yeah. So I remember the next day he was like, what are you doing tomorrow? I'm like, I think that day I'd organised, because it was Saturday class. So I was going to stay at my mum's. And he was like, come tomorrow after class, because we had class on Saturday and Sunday to prepare for the showcase. And I came and he just gave me a contract. He's like, yeah, go and take it to your mum. And like all of a sudden I was signed. And I was like, what does this mean? Yeah. Like I was signed. And I didn't even know what that meant. I had to go to my mum. My mum was reading it. My mum's okay. Like, do you want to do it? I'm like, I think so. And like, before you know it, I'm going up for audition. Like, it was the maddest thing. Like, and so I'm still coming back to uni to go to. So they had that. So there's the school. There was Identity, the drama school. Yeah. And then in the drama school, they had obviously been clocking like, listen, we've got some rich talent here that we've been nurturing. It's about time we make, like, that's why I said he's a pioneer. Like, I will not take away his ethic and stuff, because he's seen that, you know what I mean? It's kind of like going from, if you look at it in a music sense, there's only the Sonys, the AMGs, that big, like, you know, top 3, and you're going, cool, we're going to be independent. And someone's, you know, you've got a Diddy or someone like that's gone, I've got resources to like kind of start supporting these people that wouldn't get, if you don't get into those route, 3, the normal route. But of course, of course there was like a challenge with that, because when I used to sit next to him and he'd be putting on his whitest voice to be like, hi. But what would happen slowly and surely with him persisting, they'll be like, okay, we want to see Bummy. And when they say they want to see Bummy, he'll throw 4 more of us. Like, do you know what I mean? Because I remember, and then slowly and surely, like at the end of the day, you know, Skins came out around that time. Yeah. And then that casting director, she was famously known for doing open auditions. Like, slowly but surely, it was like the industry was looking for fresh talent. And so what they would do is like do these little open auditions. Again, even down to open auditions, come and be the next T4 presenter, all those kind of things. It's a privilege to even access those things, because you have to think about it. If your day-to-day Saturday morning is chores and that, where are you even gonna think to go to Lakeside and go and audition to be a BB? You have to remember to conceive these things as dreams. Yeah, the seed needs to be sown up. You're seeing your 3rd generation. You know, you've seen auntie come to the country, maybe start as a carer and study their way, become a nurse. And I'm not demeaning any of these. Like, listen, the backbone of the NHS is African, Asian, Caribbean, nurses, doctors, people that have come over here. But you have to think to be in a place now where you can talk to a 6-year-old and like, I want to be a content creator. That's a privilege.
Yeah, facts, absolutely.
Do you understand what I mean? We didn't even get to, like, even us talking.
KSI, as in KSI, as far as I'm concerned, at my age, and I am obviously, we're older, but we're quite young. When I first saw KSI, first thing I thought was Waste Man.
No way.
Absolutely Waste Man. Well, you're playing, as in terms, you know how risky it is to play computer games all day and chat shit on TV.
Oh, yeah. So okay, I guess, I don't really know much about the games.
You even get parents that are open-minded enough to allow your child to do that. Yeah. Crazy, isn't it?
Yeah. But that's what I'm trying to say. So there's more access. So this is what I was talking about earlier as well. But the gatekeepers, so bringing that together is like, some people, you meet them and it's like, they're mad because when they, you know, there was only 3 options when they were coming up, whether that be music, whether that be work, whatever. And then now there's 10 options. Now, do you know what I mean? HBO, Netflix, all of these streaming platforms now, you know, you don't need to go through just BBC, ITV, Channel 4 to get a show on. But then that now means, like you were saying before, it looks like everyone's bagging a BAFTA. I remember when Kobe finished Brunel, media and communications degree. And I remember he called me and he was like, oh yeah, I'm going to go to film school. Like, and he's asking me like, not my opinion, but I think he was just like, you know, you're someone, because people knew I went to the part-time drama school while I was in uni, and I did that Coca-Cola commercial, and I flew to Prague, and it was like, woohoo. I thought, wow, that was my first acting job. And I thought, is this what the industry is going to be like? Bag 10 bags, going to Coca-Cola to go and do something.
Well, they
and
gave 10 bags to do that.
I got it twice over 2 years, so I got 5. That's how I did my driving test, got my car. Like, I was, do you know what I mean?
Vibe.
But that was not that's an anomaly. Commercials do. Of course, that's my first job. I thought I'm sold, and now, mate, like, this is what I'm trying to say is like, I was almost like that's what I said. I signed this contract, gone to my mum, signed it, given it to him. I've gone back to uni, got lectures, and then all of a sudden I'll get an email or get a phone call. Hi, Toyin, you've got an audition tomorrow. I've got a lecture.
What?
And
For what?
Like, I'll just have an
the
audition for
random
something.
stuff.
Like, say you got an audition for Casualty, but it's like, I've got a lecture, and then I started going, oh my God, like, what do I do? So then I'd stop going to lectures. And because you have to remember, genesis of me even doing my subject was to not look like a failure. So then it's like, all of a sudden, there's fire in my belly for something that I never wanted. I just wanted to do it as a hobby, something I enjoy. And all of a sudden you're telling me I can have a career in this. Yeah. So, I mean, and then like we were like he ran a tight ship. Before I would go and meet the actual casting director, I had to go and audition for him. And if you didn't think you were good enough for it, you wouldn't go.
Sounds like a goat.
Do you know what he sounds like? Like what I am Charles tried to do in terms of our artists and the independency. He's just doing exactly what he
Who did it? Who did it?
So my business partner Charles.
Yeah.
We know Kobe obviously. So,
yeah, okay.
Basically, how family's moving is how we move with our music. With
Yeah.
Not our actors, our artists.
Artists,
it's
yeah.
Like, you want to be the best.
Yeah.
But before we take you to the studio, before we take you to this label, you have to do it for us here, man. We have to know that we're going there with chest to push you. That's what I'm getting from this guy, because he can already see your code.
Yeah. And so obviously you have to.
And how many Toyins does he have at this point?
So at this point, like, because
No,
I remember
at that point.
He's signing people, bro.
he was signing people. Like, there was certain. So what happened was that at that point, because I was in the youth side, so there was like the under 21s, and then there was, to be fair, even though I was getting closer, but like depending on how he saw you in your casting bracket. So, and then the adults had their version. So you had the school's running, that's making the money. But slowly he's nurturing his talent. I'd say he has about maybe 60 of us. And it was like him, he'd hired agents. So then you're now like knocking the door, like slowly by surely the industry's opening. Because that's why whenever one person won, it was an opportunity. When John Berger got Attack the Block, opportunities, you have to understand because...
Did he go to there as well?
Yeah, he came a lot like so the names like he was like when he booked Attack the Block, I remember that being a significant, like, you know, when someone's gone, like they've you guys are doing contracts and maybe you're doing them for local businesses and then someone books something with HSBC, it's like, whoa, now through that, now all the other banks, do you understand what I mean? So it's like, so you have to remember on one side, I get the grind, but almost in a way he became our second oppressor. Do you know what I mean? Because in a way, because you know when you hear back about Missy Elliott, all of those lot, I don't know who those music producers, you hear about TLC, all these people that were listening to their bangers, but they're all broken because they had some mad contracts with their managers that look like them. You know how you always hear about Diddy? Diddy's the biggest artist in Bad Boy. Do you know what I mean? All the artists, like, they do well to a certain point and then it's like Diddy consumes their light. Do you understand? You know, you always hear that, like the Diddy curse, but it's one of those ones whereby, not to say, because obviously people, you know, have done excellently and that identity had been a platform for them to have started their career, even if they moved on and stuff. I feel like for me, maybe to do with my own insecurities, like I said, I came there just as a hobby and then I got signed. And like this person opened my eyes to an opportunity I wasn't looking for. And that person is a man, a black man. And in many ways, he doubled up as my dad. And I feel like there's a part of me that wanted to impress him. So what I didn't know, Bumi had just left, maybe found another agent. I don't know what her reasons was. She'd booked EastEnders and she'd left and she got another agent. I didn't know that he'd been going into the agency class saying, I found the new Bumi. Me.
Wow.
Do you understand what I mean? I got told by another actor when I joined the class, like, oh, like, you know, when you come as a class, people are like, oh, right, that's her. And then he was like, throw me into, like, he used to do these things, like, he'll just throw a scenario.
So that shit when he comes in, that might not have even been normal that he attends every single session.
So that time when he came in, that's what I'm trying to say, it's a weird way. You know, sometimes you meet some people where, that's what I said, you know, I see friends, like, my friends will talk about their worst managers have been black women. And I'm just like, wow, why?
Mine too.
And sometimes it's like, no, but it's a complicated situation that I feel like on one side as a people, we are coming so far whereby like we're excelling, we're being partners, we're like, look, you know, we're not just entering roles and peaking at middle management, like people are, but then on the other side, sometimes because we still run this whole thing, we can't fail. Like Joe Bloggs write a book, Joe Bloggs tries to do, look at me, I told you for the last, this year I was like, yeah, I'm going to start the podcast, but I just second, how many podcasts are there? And I'm start self-editing myself, and then I'm self-sabotaging before I give myself the opportunity to try. And you have to remember, even the privilege of trying something, it comes from a place of, I will say it again, access. I've been banging it on, but like, for you to just try something, it's kind of like, yo, you mean, like all of these kids, well, I've got one friend that her son, he plays for like Arsenal, I think he's in the 18 plus now, but like, that's my hell. All this stuff is investment. You know, it's one thing when it's a hobby. When your parents are not like those people that slug into every match, and again, to invest in that, yeah. If you don't have time to do that, you can love your kids to death, but if you don't have time to do that, or support network to be able to do that, that child might not be nurtured. You know, now you've got people that will notice something and they'll be like, look, I'll pick up your kid and take them to thingy. But if you ain't got that, then your child might miss out on an opportunity. Do you understand? Facts. You know what I mean? Our parents before, they would have been, you know, typically go to school, go and do lawyer, doctor. You know what they say, those typical. Now, you go and sit next to someone, the content creators making more than that junior doctor, bro. Even senior doctor. So, but now... exactly, but I'm sure now I remember when I was working in youth work and parents would come, one woman was coming to me to complain about the memes that her daughter was getting. I said, auntie, let me keep it 100 with you, this is light work. Your daughter is 16, sixth form. In fact, I even encourage you to lose it, because if you keep honing down, like she was like, she's not going out anywhere, she's not doing anything, because I was calling her up to let her come to some program, and she was like, no. And then she was like, what's your name? Toyin. And she's like, yeah, Nigerian. I was like, auntie, come and see me. Like, do you know what I mean? And I remember, because I was like, listen, these kids are going to do it. Like I said, I thank God. In a way, it was a blessing. Of course, I hated it as a kid, but I left the trail. Even when I tried to do, it would be the day when I'm trying to sneak unpack one thing, my mom would just be like, I just be moving shifty. Then she'd be like, open your bag. I'll just be busted. But I know bare people, you know, that's why it used to frustrate the hell out of me, because like I said, I'm there, like I walk through, you're going to see my crumbs, and there'll be one kid, and it's only on to, like, for women, it's unfortunate, like our quote unquote sins will be seen through pregnancy. If that was like, if that, you know what I mean? Or, you know, even for kids, the boys, you know, they'll be involved in stuff, and then there's one day police is knocking at your door and you're like, huh?
And your mum's like, my
baffled.
son, no way.
That's the worst one. When I used to see, I think those are the most scary ones. When your kids is able to, you think they are innocent. Wow, because I feel like
this guy right here, mate.
You have to know.
I'm exactly like that.
You need to know that. You need to know the trajectory of your child's madness. Like, even that's why we used to upset with my mum, because I'll come home and she'll be like, you know what? I know you probably didn't do everything they said it did, but she'll get onto me for the bit that I could have prevented. Because you were talking too much. This is why. And I used to feel like, but I have my back. That's why when my sister was in school, when she went to one of these academies, and you know, they've built all these academies in these inner city schools, and a lot of people start thinking, oh my God, they're coming to help the schools. But what you realize, they're coming to enlist this system. The education system is mad in terms of like the way that they are just trying to make everybody, you know, I'm not here saying our kids should just be on trees and just like, you know, go with the fairies. But you know, when you start thinking about like, really, it's a child's hairstyle. Like, you have to think about the policing and the systematic policing.
Like,
and
prison life.
What are you? So what? And then what? And subconsciously, the standard you are setting for each child to be greatness is Western and white, ultimately. And so you're stripping kids of their identity. And that was, I remember, what became the USP of the identity drama school, because he was like, you know, I remember one guy. He's a friend of mine, Martin's. He's in Bridgerton. Plays like the boxer guy. I remember when he said he wanted to go to drama school, and like Femi was like, nah man, they're gonna strip you of who you are, because he'd been through that system and he got it, but he was kind of like, I feel the foundation I've got here coupled with this, and he went there. And what I love about him, like, he done that for himself. A lot of us, you know, well, like I said, the industry started to open up slowly but surely. Daniel Kluwer didn't come identity, but he still, again, he was another example of kids that come through the youth club environment, the youth drama camp, you know, people that wouldn't have had the money for Anna shares and all those things. But casting directors, especially with Skins blowing up, you have to think Skins would have been, what's the equivalent of Skins in our time now? That would be like
the equivalent of Skins. I don't know what that would be.
I don't even know what that is. Like, you know,
because
like
Skins was actually on. It wasn't just on YouTube. It was on what was it?
Channel 4. But what I'm saying is, like, you know, when you have a show, but it was like that kind of experience. I'm trying to think like sex education, actually. Skins will be like, I feel like Skins walk so sex education could run. Do you understand what I mean? Or yeah, so, but you have to remember that casting director at the time where she did open castings is like similar to how For the Black Boys is out taking cues around West End, and you got imagine they've hit the equality diversity quota for 5 years just through this one event. No, be for real. Be for real. Bro, what, you think all the other theatres are not going to be like, let's wake up, how are we going to diversify our audiences? Because funding comes in through when you show that you are doing something different. Do you understand what I mean? So even this is where you get the tokenism, where they'll be like, oh, come, damn it, yeah, this is our black that was sponsoring, we're sponsoring this black. And sometimes this is the difference between, and but you have to be careful though, because it's harmful. I did a show last year, and as much of one side, I don't want to tear it down. The same institution I worked in for another show where I was one of 2 blacks, I'm baiting myself out anyway, but in the same show, I worked 2 shows back to back. I was offered a smaller role in this second show, but what I loved about it was that it was a Shakespeare production with an all-black cast that were going to do Afrofuturism, think Wakanda, think, do you know what I mean? It was kind of like telling this like most popular Shakespearean story from a Much Ado About Nothing. Okay, cool. And going to tell it, and I was just so excited. I didn't care if they asked me to just carry brush and pan. I remember going in, and it was like my agent called me and was like, oh, you know, they want to, and I was just like, you know, at the time saw the role, and I was thinking, I was like even looking for, because you know when they like pick any part you want, I was like, you know, you look for the script, it's like 200 pages. Okay, I'm not gonna read all 200 pages in time because I was still doing my other show, but I was trying to filter through, and I was seeing like, oh, there's only a few scenes, but when I went there and sat with the director and just hearing his vision for the story, I was so excited about it. And it was just a shame because like a lot of factors was against us. We started rehearsals in December. Omicron was on the rampage. When I tell you, I was in the first day of rehearsal. By lunchtime, I had to leave because people in my WhatsApp group from the other play were like, we're not feeling well. So I was like, hey, they're not feeling well. Let me go and check myself. Before I got home before the next day, I got my text to say, you too, you got it.
Oh,
so,
you got it?
Yeah, I had COVID. So it was my first. Oh, yeah, Omicron came through like, everybody, you didn't have it before?
Oh, I know.
Everybody.
What December? Is that?
December 2021.
Everyone got it, yeah.
Everybody got it. I mean, yeah, maybe you did. Okay, sorry. Sorry.
Did you get tested? Yeah. Okay, cool.
Yeah, but you remember that time that people...
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but there was proper like strict, because you know there'd been strict things, but things were slightly starting to open up because it was 2020 when I literally called my agent. I said, listen, like I said, the ratio of my acting has been 40%. I've been working. I took the end of 20. I took those 2 shows that I was doing off the back, and I thought, you know, Toyin, go into 2020, try and. One of my colleagues at work was like, this non-profit you're doing and you're using the council property and doing this, you know, they're ticking the diversity equality thing through you because you're bringing in more youth here through your little thing that you're using. They will pay you as your hours as a youth worker, but you're bringing in young people into this space that haven't come in normally. You've come in less than a year. You've transformed and created a young women's group, and kids are engaging. They're not just coming to the youth club for Wi-Fi. They're not just coming to see boys and see girls or to mess about. They're actually engaging in things. And he was just like, realize your impact, because he was leaving. He worked like in a business administration side. He was like, try and stand on your own feet. Obviously, the security of me doing this doesn't pay, and also the security of being, you know, sometimes as a smaller operation, I'm thinking I'm under the council umbrella. So I was intentional initially, like I'm gonna go here, learn from a larger institution, learn. But I feel like I might have started to coast, and I was getting frustrated because me not increasing my position was always on the offset for this acting that was at 40%. And I would have managers that would like maybe, you know, come and, you know, different team department heads. And one lady, she was going to head like the whole domestic abuse department, supporting women in the community. She was like, listen, this work you're doing, I think it'll be so fantastic for you to come. But I would have to go full time. And so you're peaking in your position. And this is the complication that I have constantly, because I'm still holding out, but I'm getting tired. And that's why probably back to when you said, yeah, you're an actress, because I do feel like last time I was on stage was December 31st. You know, I did a week of filming in March for some comedy thing, but it's like considering of 2 years back to back where I could say 100% I was working. Obviously not, when I say back to back, I finished that other job in March and I didn't do the next one to July, but as in I even took a break, April. I was starting to audition, I actually felt like when someone say to me, what, I'm an actor, it's a weird one. And I don't want to, because I know many people feel like this, in this sense of like, as much as I know that's not the truth, I'm an actor regardless whether I'm on stage or I'm on set, I'm still those things. But I think it's also connected to the finance. Like, I'm not earning, you know what I mean? Some people's like, I'm not, like, the earning, like, I was talking with Ade and she was like, we have to admit that what we do is connected to our identity. Like, you know, as much as I know you don't idolize what you do, but it is like, you know, people work their 9 to 5, and not to shit on anybody 9 to 5 or whatever, but you leave that and you go away. Like, you've got, how many times you hear, oh, that person is a bit of a dickhead. He's not going to come and ask you an IT question when you're walking down the street. No one even knows when but because of your public, same way with all these other people, like public figures in different ways, but they get approached for who they are, even when they're not actively doing what they do. Like, I don't know how it is for, like, obviously the contact world and influencing world is a bit different, but even then it's like, is it every day that you just want to go to Tesco and now someone's coming like, hi Molly May, or hi whoever you are, and if you don't greet them now, Shade Borough, one platform abusing you. Do you understand what I mean? Whereas Craig from finance, after 5 p.m, you can't log out. Sorry, automatic email will tell you.
But as an actress, what do you feel as though?
I mean, I'm not visible. I'm not visible, although I feel like the Holy Spirit has been really trying to encourage me in this season, because I swear to you, for considering theatre, like I said, is an elitist place. It's not a space where people have access to often. Tickets are expensive a lot. So, you know, I remember I actually took my friend to go and see For the Black Boys recently in this new rendition. He wanted to go and he was just like, I'll come with me. So I went, and then I remember being in the queue in the interview, and 2 people like, came up to me and was like, oh, did you do this play last year? And I was just like, yeah. And that's what I said. And I was like, you know what I mean? All of this, I remember speaking to my friend, she's like, do you feel this is encouragement? And I know that, you know, it is in a way of like, rah, like, I'm thinking this small, obscure, like my 1-2 lines in Top Boy Netflix, like that would have got me rated by my little cousins. That would be like, oh, you know, some people like, you're an actor, but until you do EastEnders, until you do certain type of things, they don't rate it. Like, I've done lead in Royal Shakespeare Company, is like, yeah, but they don't. But you have to understand.
What's the other one you did? The one when you were, I think it was, you a crazy woman or so. You weren't crazy, but basically you were living in your own world. I thought, were you essentially by yourself for the whole play or something?
No, it was like 2. It was 2 of us.
Yeah,
but
but
the one that you and Christian came.
Yeah,
because you lot were late. No, wait, it was one of those. But even like, I remember Kobe would call me and like I would talk to him, and he was just like, when he was telling me about going to film school, and I was like, what are you asking me for? Like, I feel like I do, yeah, because I've always felt like, as much as on one side, like I said, I've prayed to be where I am now. 2018 Toyin, it's like, right, I wish I was here. But then the goalpost move. And I think everybody can access to that. I was sitting with Ade, nominated for BAFTA, and she said something to me about, you know, you have to learn to be content without always being full. And I was like, it was like a gem. And I was like, yeah, it's true. Because again, here she was.
You have to learn to be content without being full.
Yeah, so sometimes you can like, learn to be content knowing that you could still eat some more. Do you understand? Because that's the only way. Because the truth is, even if I said, if I got to where Ade was, I'll be cool. That's a lie. I'll probably get there and be worried about some next thing.
And that's not even just with...
That's with everything. That's with everything. But obviously, I'm just talking because it's hyper visible. So I'm there sitting with my friend who... Look at me. I've got
you have to learn to be content without being full.
Yeah, when she said that, it's like... You know, I totally heard it because I literally through my notes. I remember I see a prayer, Lord, da 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 da. I remember when I saw, like, you know, there was an interview with Michaela Cole that I saw when someone was talking to her about the success of Chewing Gum. It's like, you know, everyone's loving this witty comedy show that's been brought out and all this, you know, and we're seeing characters we can relate to, and whether you liked it or not, it was just about seeing representation. It was like, again, it was like almost fire underneath the industry. Like, you know, you see moments in time, an artist comes out, something happens, you know, the pandemic, and then it shifts. It does something to the following experiences, and then opens doors for more people. Like, you know, I think I got introduced, was it Nella Rose, to my little sister, you know, I think they're around the same age. You know, she just used to do videos in her uni room, and I remember seeing a little video from her talking about how, like, her mum passed away, and how, like, I think due to her mum passing away, like, the council was like, yeah, you don't need to bounce. Like, you know, sometimes you don't inherit the tenancy. And it was like raw, like she was talking to people now. So she'd bought her, or I don't know if she'd bought, but she probably was renting her first place or something. I can't remember what the story was, but I remember just seeing that video of, I was like, wow. But like, you know, people can look at people like Philly Chunks, you know, like as like, you know, the early day you said KSI, all these people, and then now, because of their experience, or like, look at WizKid. Remember my guy be singing My Music Travel No Visa. My guy couldn't get into the country, but we were banging his tunes. And now, you know, Afrobeats artists can just drop be here. So you have to understand is it could be a harder slug. Now, some people can say, okay, well, because it was so hard for me, this is what I mean with the gatekeepers, I'm going to make it harder for you. It's like, well, you cutting your nose to spite your face. It is hard. Like, this industry is like, in the same way when I saw, you know, Ade nominated for that BAFTA, it was like, wow, like, it's so close. And also, in honesty, it's also so far. And that's probably why I reacted in the way when you were like, because it does feel like that sometimes. It's like, I've just gone back to back where I haven't had to worry about going back to my part-time job or anything like that. But then I've come to the top of this year, had a meeting with my agent at the end of last year, being intentional about, I want to focus more on TV and film. I do still want to do theatre. That is my first love. But basically wanting to, like, you know, there's one thing to go, I can do this. But I've literally saved a show with 15 minutes to go. An actress couldn't perform and they've come to knock on my door, rat-a-tat-tat, can you do the show? When I told you about, like I said, I went from a show where I was one of two blacks to a show where 99% of the cast was black, and I saw the stark difference in how we were treated. And I'm not saying all of it was malicious. I'm just saying sometimes you want to do this presentation or, hey, Dammy, you're our black, we're supporting you, we really believe in Black Lives Matter, but you haven't considered your story or journey of how you got here. And like, I know, like, yeah, some black people might not want to be affiliated with that, but we have to, but some people's like, you know, if it's like me taking on a bunch of students, someone's in a wheelchair, that's a different access. Like, we understand physical accesses, but we're in a generation now, we're always talking about different mental accesses, but sometimes the racial accesses. So I'm in a show where we had parents and stuff like that. When the one that I did off the back of the pandemic, like, we're phasing in, they were making sure we had like someone to check in with our well-being, because, you know, it was the first job. Imagine I've gone from Hackney, where was you? Most people traveling Tesco, to your local supermarket, 3 mile radius during the pandemic, to Warwick, middle of nowhere. Even the day after the Euro final, we had tech. I remember my stage manager calling me to the side. She goes, how are you doing? I'm like, oh, I'm fine. She don't know how you doing. I know the finals was yesterday. And she let me know she saw me. Wow. And she's a white woman, and I would always like love her for that. And she was just like, yeah, how are you doing? And I was like, yeah, she's like, stay off the internet if you need to, like, take time, let me know. And I just felt so valued. So I'm not even trying to shit on that place as a whole, because I still enjoyed my time there, but they did fail us in some aspects. There were other production things that failed us. You know, a lead actor walked away from the show like 2 weeks before it was supposed to start, but his understudy stepped up. Omicron was literally 4 weeks before Christmas. Everybody wasn't in the same room till like the 4th week. And then we were like so scared of COVID, it changed the way rehearsals were happening. That lead actor leaving shook imagine the lead, like, you know, like, say who's somebody that works with somebody all the time, like, you know, you got those like director actor duos, you know what I mean? It's like, you know, like, think of Missy Elliott and, like, if you think of music, like, Missy Elliott and Timbaland, imagine like Missy we see headline, Missy Elliott no longer working with Timbaland. And all the other people that are in the, do you understand what I mean? It was, I mean, obviously that's like, but just to try and paint a picture. So it just shook, like, we were, and then it was like little things, like, we had a stage management, which is like the people that help keep our time in, what time we come into rehearsals. Like, if I'm a director, I want to paint the rainbow, I want to try this, I want to try that. But you're in charge of making sure people take their breaks. You're in charge of people are working the right hours. Do you understand what I mean? That was slacking. So people are getting tired. And the irony was that we had a lot of young people in this company. So then I'm starting to think, is this an age thing? But then we also had some older seasoned actors. Then what's the stark difference? Race. And you start thinking, is it because many of us aren't privileged enough to have worked in this kind of institution that you're getting away with more things? I remember in this other company, we were performing outside for the first time. Obviously in July, it was scorching hot. We even having audience members faint. Oh, God. You know how August is. August is going to give you rain. every time we'll have a meeting, we need a new plan, wet weather, what level of rain, when, if I'm on stage, I start to feel uncomfortable, like constantly, like we had, and I know that wasn't even just because I'm sitting there, as when I joined that company, I had mad imposter syndrome, because here I am working. I remember when I did my audition via Zoom, and the guy was like, what do you think about Stratford? I said, the only Stratford I know is E20, baby. He's like, what do you think about coming to Stratford-on-Avon? And I was like, if I'm honest, I've never felt, although I loved Shakespeare as an English student, and my drama teacher, when them stacking up them books and you'd break down some of these stories, I'm like, rah, this is like bare other stories.
Yeah, even when you told me you went to Stratford, you remember my expression was, because I knew about I went to a good
most
school,
people
innit?
know Romeo and Juliet.
Yeah, but at Stratford-upon-Avon, I was like, rah. I was like, rah, you're actually performing, what was it, there, innit? I'm thinking, yeah. That's a big deal.
Yeah. And I remember just feeling like, rah, that kind of place isn't for me. And I was a bit scared, like, is this a little, put a black person in the show type of vibe? You know, we're trying to come back after the pandemic. Let's sprinkle this with a little black in here. But I happen to have a director that he's like a super fan of Shakespeare. So he also made sure we weren't just coming there and doing yodie language. He made sure we understood what we were talking about. And like, I'm realizing, like I said, these seeds that my drama teacher has sown in from years, I'm like, when he would just make this thing accessible, stop being... Shakespeare, when he wrote, was writing for the local man. He was, in fact, police were coming to raid, like, you know how like pirate radio stations and stuff like that, or like an unlicensed rave. That was what Shakespeare, performing and being an actor was like the lowest of the lows, scum. So anytime he was doing shows and stuff like that. But then now when you think of Shakespeare, people think, oh, Shakespeare, oh God. Do you know what I mean? So you've made it such an elitist thing. But it's so, do you know what I mean? Like, but like, so but then you don't realize, like, if you take the genesis of most storylines, do you know what I mean? They will say, our people group don't like we don't like the theatre. It's because we didn't grow. Go to any story, go and be in any family gathering, you hear one uncle telling you a story, by the time you do all the performance and you've got a performance, do you understand? Like, so it's just like, to take away, it's just making sure you see, and there's power in seeing something there. You know what I mean? Barack Obama, whether you agreed with his politics or not, Sadiq Khan, whatever, you see, triggered somebody, said, what? I can do that. Whether, do you understand what I mean? And that's what we need. We need that. And you see the power in that. You know, you see certain people have made it, and then now, like, something as an influencer exists, podcasts that are there that are now existing, that are like, they're you know, that's why I love for UK and Africa, in the sense of, everything used to be centralized around America. Let's be real, for a long time, our TV programs, everything. And now it's like, that's what I'm saying. Drake said, Top Boy.
This is lit. The UK is lit.
Obviously, but then it's like, cool. But before, you know, we'll be The Wire, all the other, do you know what I mean, City Guys, I don't know, Sister, like, you remember, like, I love those shows. Don't take me, we sure, but, you know, we didn't really, there were things, the blouse and skirt, there were shows in the UK, Grange Hill, do you know what I mean? But it was still very far few, the diversity in them weren't really coming.
Yeah, so a lot of the time, that even us, as like the UK black experience, we would have to look to America in order to find ourselves, isn't it? A lot of the time. But even back to what you're saying in regards to the 60-40, obviously, the way I was, obviously, cause I'm not someone that's delve deep into actual particular, as in like saying alternative profession. Yeah. So when you're saying 60-40 to me, I feel as though that's still a huge.
I feel like that might have been still, if I'm honest, it might have been. You know, when 2017 I joined Hackney Council, I remember, like, I did this show in 2016 that actually made me feel like I can be an actor, and I remember I got my agent that I have now. And because up until that point, like I said, my journey with identity, like I said, I got signed, I'm conflicted. I had to repeat first year modules because that's what I mean. It came in, all of a sudden I went from, I'm going all of this, I guess deep down I was getting tired. The tinkering of trying so hard, labelled from secondary school to college. Like, I thought when I got to college, finally, just do my 2 years A-level. You know, college was a breeze. That's why I was so disappointed in myself with that fight, because it was like, for what you've made it out of the jungle, like I said, a third of my year I finished with in year 11 because they sent everyone to unit and Peru, especially if you was a troublesome person and you went academically, get lost.
Yeah, that's why then they put me in unit, but it was come out grades.
That's what I'm saying. So I was, and like I said, my drama teacher and English teacher, I hated their guts at the beginning, but I started to deep it. I remember even by year 11 when some people started just out of nowhere, you know, the postcode wars really kicked in when I got into year 11. No, I tell you for facts, people had to leave my school as well because of postcode wars. Where my school was situated was a very hot area. People getting slapped up for just being in the wrong place. I'm so happy I wasn't one of those girls that ripped too hard my other postcode. But no, because some girls were even getting slapped up. It was that bad. Like I literally, because the first week of my year 11, there was a young man that was murdered in Hackney Town Hall. And it became like, you know, postcode wars were happening across, but like, you know, when you have that thing that happens, like people might remember something happened, like Boardwalk, but that was a racial thing. But like, you know, like sometimes there's something happens to somebody and then that really creates a beef between some areas or whatever. But like, I remember that situation happening when I was in year 11, and it just, life was never the same afterwards. And I couldn't even imagine. I remember my auntie and uncle moved to Dagenham at that time, and my cousin was no, because it was just that they might have already been moving, but I had anybody that had a young black man, like I was 16, but your child could just get slapped up just for being in the wrong area.
Yeah, facts.
Do you know what I mean? And bear in mind, you're not even one of those people that's repping. If anything, majority of the victims were people that didn't. They were just nomads, just trying to get to. You imagine you can't go to your Tesco because you can't go food shopping with your mum because you're now in the wrong postcode.
I couldn't go to church because of where their church was located.
Exactly. And imagine some parents are not going to understand that until they see, you know, nowadays the beef is even so crazy where it's like, bro, you could even be next door neighbours you're beefing because now social media is coming and all these different things have come in. But it's so like, it's just so mad. So like so I've gone from getting that. So when the college thing happened, I was annoyed, and then like I feel like I've been beating myself up ever since. Like I must do thingy, and then I'm in uni and I'm there. And I'm not trying to say I hated my course completely, but I knew it wasn't my first choice. I was just doing it, and it was like push through. And like for some people, I commend them. Some people have slugged through things, done. You know, you hear people, this degree's for you. Now I'm gonna do what I'm doing. I always tell the young people I work with, like, yo.
I'll just ask you a quick question, innit?
Yeah.
And that is, from hearing from you right now, what is actually your main passion? Is it the acting, or is it the almost like the social justice?
I feel like they both hand in hand. Even this is probably the most I've ever talked about my social justice stuff in a minute, because I actually felt like,
oh shit, we need to
yeah,
soon,
we need to.
So, yeah. We've got 5 minutes anyway, innit?
Yeah. I'll be very honest. Like I feel like my friend said this to me the other day, and she was helping me with a self-tape, was saying that when we came up and started doing the acting, it was always like, you know, we're already the underdogs because we didn't go to drama school. And so it's like, be disciplined, focus on this and whatever. And like I said, when that fire in my belly was given to me to like consider I can do this, like I committed to it, to the coming back down to Hackney every time. Anything, I was so committed to the extent that I was failing my actual degree, coupled with partying. Let me not for that. But do you know what I mean? I wasn't doing that well. Yeah. But it's because I actually found something I was really passionate about. And then when I finished uni, I remember actually getting to the end, and I remember I had my last exams, and I was like, and then 2 months after finishing, I got an email, not even a call, like, and it felt so distant, because by this time the agency's grown, got new agents. The newest agent calls me to come and say, we're giving you 3 months, and then we're gonna, if you don't book any work, then we're gonna drop you. I remember being on the district line, going to Barking to my friend house, and I think maybe 2 days later I had noticed, maybe not 2 days, that might be a bit dramatic, but within a week or two, I'd gone on Spotlight, which is like the website and I could see that, you know, where it would normally have your name and your like height and age, and it will have your agency, was gone. I was Kerosday. I remember calling them up. This is how I would say now, because I'm ashamed. Yeah. But it was like, I called up the agency weeping. Obviously, I didn't get to speak to who I wanted to speak to. And I was like, you guys, like, it was literally like someone begging. You know, when you think about it, you're like, you know, that meme is like, stand up. I know you can shout that, but you have to understand, like, I never asked for this. And it was brought to me.
In front of you.
Not even like but it just gave me something, you're existing, you're thinking. I'm not almost to sound dramatic, but, and then all of a sudden I'm being given this passion to do something. And then I'm going for it, not quite sure where it's going to go, but really believing because of who's raising me up in this environment. And then all of a sudden, like, and you have to remember, like I said, that it's kind of like, no one's fault. Like obviously my degree was my responsibility, but I guess because it wasn't what I really wanted to do, it was easier for me to not be my best at it. And then, yeah.
Is it?
Nah, this must be your longest episode ever.
No,
Surely.
Actually, it might be. Who knows, isn't it? Actually, I have got longer ones, isn't it? Is it? Well, stop anyway. Continue anyway, yeah?
But I was just like, wow, my heart broke. And the irony of, like, the place that I was training was called Identity. I feel like in that time, I didn't know who I was. And almost that breaking, and I say this now, and a part of me tingles because I'm like, in parallel to where I feel right now, and I'm like, oh, I feel like I was saying to my therapist, I feel like I'm going log to log and I don't know where I'm going. And I feel like that hustle of doing that when I was in my 20s was different. I live on my own now. I've got rent to pay. I've got things like I just don't know. I'm getting fatigued on this. Will this ever be worth it? I'm doing side hustles that I'm not excited about, and that's draining my soul because I'm like, it's gonna be worth it. And then I'll go and buck my friend and goes, hey, superstar. And it's triggering. As much as I want to be like, thank you, I don't feel like that. Do you know what I mean? And I love my normal friends in a sense of, when I say normal, it's not to mug anyone off, because they encourage me. Like, I love it that I'm the main character in their world, because what I do, there's that meme of what you do, what people think you do, and whatever. So much of what we do in this industry is waiting. And like, then I sit with my friend and I'm like, babe, you're gonna, and she, do you know what I mean? And it's not like to say she's not happy or grateful, but there's also a longing in her heart. And I just deep it like this. And me and her were chatting, and while we were talking, imagine one babe that we both knew who had won a BAFTA the night before, because they split the BAFTA up in two sections, like the crafts, so like the directors, things, bits like that. Like almost, how like they in an award show, they've got like the ones they pre-film. But it's like BAFTA craft, not to say it's less than, but in a way they do some of the other vocation, not that's the wrong word, but they give out some of the other things like
they used to do with the black or the.
No, it's not even like to say, it's just two different types of, there's they both are televised, to be fair, I think, but she we'd seen her and she was like, oh, because she'd gone to the bar to go and get us a coffee, and she was like, come and meet Nicole's at the bar, and we went over there, and then like they're both going to the actual main BAFTAs, and they're talking there, and like I'm hearing it, and I'm like, I'm so close to this conversation, both in proximity and understanding, but so far away from it. And it's not even like a part breaks in me, because I'm feeling like there is still that glimmer of hope, but it's also like what she said, being able to be like, and I'm trying to find that. And I know other factors are into that. Like if you're financially constrained, I'm a creative, I'm a storyteller. I've been yapping a lot for the last how many hours, but it's like you find it's harder to do that if you're feeling constrained. Do you know what I mean? And I was saying to my friend the other day, like, it might be an ego thing, but like, I feel like a fraud sometimes, because I'm like,
that's real imposter syndrome.
Yeah, it's mad imposter syndrome, and I'm aware of it because I had that 2 years ago when I turned up at Stratford-upon-Avon, and then I went from this girl that was my debut show to my director saying like, what you bring to the show. And then when the lady was pinged and I came on, and it's like, when you're an understudy and you go on for the lead, you've got to stick to kind of obviously lines and blocking and things, but for some big shows, people have come to see, like you say, you come to see Tina Turner. And then you're there. And then you come, bro, do you know what kind of pressure that is when you're not, they're like, sorry, tonight's performance, because they always announce it 10 minutes before the show. And like, or like, tonight, they don't tell you in advance.
And then some people are even pissed already.
Pissed off. There, and now you've got to come and perform. But then he was just like, what you did when you play that role, it's not even a matter of comparison. It's just that you did your own. You understand what I mean? And then when I went into the other show, and there's the incident when someone had to leave the show, like literally 20 minutes before the show started, an actress left, and I was called. I literally came back from the toilet, rat-a-tat-tat, ready dressed in my costume that I'm supposed to be in, and they were like, "Hi, we're gonna start the show in 15 minutes. Can you do it?" And I had a moment of going, "Do I fight, flight, or do I do it?" And something shifts in you, because in your mind, you've always prepared yourself or said, I want to be this lead. I want to do this. But when that moment happens, it was like, I remember even my sister and my cousin had come to watch it that day. They were like, they would have never known. Obviously, someone came out in the audience, said, sorry, we're starting 50 minutes late because we've had to put a new actor in. He said, I watched it. I would have never known that and they're not just especially my sister, she ain't gonna gas me anyway, but like that I ended up doing that role for the rest of the week. And my old director, the guy that I said was like the GOAT of Shakespeare, like Shakespeare nerd, he came to see, he was like, Bro, I would have thought that was your role from the start. And it was like, so I've come from that high, and it is a bit of a high because like I said, we don't do what we do all the time. Obviously some people get to do it more frequently, but being on stage, telling a story, it is a high. And then I come into a place of stillness. And like, I know they say in the stillness, I heard one actress had said, you know, in the stillness is where you live. And I probably have shortchanged myself in the season by not fully living, because adulting is taking over other things. And then I'm starting to go,
motherfucker, boy.
Cost of living is there. And I'm doing all of this and I'm going, if I didn't have this bug still, if I didn't have this passion still, I could have built a mad career do you know what I mean? You just ask me now, just talking about all this social justice stuff and everything, I still have a heart for it, and it's not to take away from it, but actually because I was doing my active full time, I couldn't do Woman After Greatness. Do you know what I mean? In the full capacity, because it was still at a grassroots stage where I need to be really in it. But that 60-40 ratio turned to 100% or 80-20. So actually, I wouldn't want to operate something at 20% because it won't be good quality. But then now I feel like, because I've now been sold, it's like, you know, when you're dating, I guess the best analogy would be like you're dating. You've got multiple people and then you now zone in on the one person you like. The risk of that is, you've got that person, you love that person, but then if they fuck you over, and so then I'm like there, and now I'm in a moment where I feel like I'm getting ghosted.
And you've missed out.
And then I'm like, rah, I might have been better off with Tunde. I might have been, do you understand what I mean? And I'm 34. And I'm sitting here and my mind's going everywhere. And I'm talking to my friend who's a mum of one, and she's telling me, she doesn't, going back to work after mum. I'm like, cool, that's one aspect. But I'm like, cool, but you're married and you've got the kids. When someone talks to me about when would you marry, I can't even fathom that right now, because I'm like, yo, I ain't gonna be a great mom to anybody right now when I'm thinking. And obviously I know this is a temporary moment of thought, but I'm like, sometimes I'm driving, I'm like, God, is this gonna be worth it one day? And it does get to me. And I think this month of April was just extra hard because like it was my dad's birthday and I knew we were getting closer to his death. So it was just kind of that idea of like, yo, this guy thought he had plans. He came for that second opinion and he actually had an appointment booked for the following week. And he had told my older sister, oh yeah, when I come then I'm going to come and see Toyin and talk for me. But he never got to. So then obviously, I'm just like, yo, like, I'm going for this. And it's not even to take away from the fact that I've achieved things, but like I said, I'm seeing my friend finally be recognized for something that, in my opinion, she should have been. And I'm like, I'm not even near you. So then I'm like, and then I'm seeing the fresh talent coming in and I'm happy and excited and all these opportunities, but I'm just like, am I too far? Like, I don't know, casting director's going to look at a 24-year-old and look at me and go, this person's done, because now Netflix is excited and all these things that have come that have meant they've got more opportunities. And it's not even to take away from that. I'm happy for that because listen, people ran so I can run into certain things, and you know what I mean? But I do feel like, oh my God, am I going to get to that place? Do you know what I will say to you, innit? Basically, innit, just to close off, what I wish for you is that in, like, say, the next 10 and 15 years' time, that you might have these feelings, but basically the level that you're operating at, because it's 10 and 15 years' time, is basically your talk. It's basically Grammy talk, isn't it? So it's like, what's the Oscar talk? So it's like, but now one of my friends got an Oscar. Obviously, I know I've got these 30 BAFTAs, isn't it? But one of my friends, he's got the Oscar, and that's what I'm saying. And obviously, I've been working very, very hard for it. But that's what I meant about what my friend said. She said about you have to learn to be content. Because it was almost in that conversation, like I said, when I heard them talk, and I was feeling like, on one side, I can go down the narrative of, wow, I'm so far away from these two. And there is a fact to that in some aspects. But I'm also so close to these two.
To the conversation, and like you said,
both in proximity and in also overnight things can change. But what I then had to go is like, and I'm sure in both of their hearts and many other people's hearts, there's still more that they want to achieve, attain, that I want to intentionally practice that contentment, because I feel like, especially in this life, no time more than ever are we able to see instant. I'm not going to post when I'm drinking Gary and bread. Bro, like today, I've cried a few times.
Once you receive your success as well, you've got the groundwork. Because like you said, I think we spoke about this as well. I heard you on the phone before we came inside here, talking about in terms of 9 times out of 10, somebody buses, people see the bussing, they don't see the work that they put in. And already on your CV already, when you receive your achievements, the one that you, some of the main basically goals that you want, there's also a resume of work behind that. So people are going to look at you and think, oh, look, she's come out of nowhere. But then on paper, you know what you've done in order to get there as well, innit? So I thought as though, innit, at one point, it's going to feel very, very, very sweet, all of this. And I'm going to feel very, very happy for it as well. Now knowing, especially the backstory that you've put in front of me, innit? Because it's easy to think, oh my God, I'm over here thinking, oh yeah, man, you're lit. Like in terms of...
But I appreciate that. And I need to still hold that I still need to walk with that on my chest, because at the end of the day, let's not deny, like, validation. I know people like, oh, don't be validated by people, whatever.
Yeah,
listen,
it means something.
we need a hug. We need a thingy. Like when people recognize you for what you've done, but I can't let that be what I eat from, because I will starve. Because there'll be some days it'll feel like a buffet, and then bro, I couldn't get a bone. Because look at Met Gala now, your faves will be getting ripped to shreds, and then tomorrow they'll be getting hailed. Damson, I swear, that guy, like, oh, I'm trending that. Like, literally feels like the guy, he says something, everybody's always abusing him. It's just like, but he's still doing his thing. So
I never knew he went Brunel, you know.
Did he go Brunel?
Yeah, he went Brunel. Damson went Brunel.
No way, I never knew that.
Yeah, you would know though, because apparently he's in your year, no?
No, he's
How old
younger.
is
He's a bit younger. I remember.
Well, apparently he went Brunel. Maybe that's why we don't know him then.
No. I think he would definitely, if he did, I don't know. But like, yeah, but God, all of this, like, I feel like even having this conversation has been a bit healing and stuff like that. And I've already kind of
that's the vibe, man.
Said to myself, because like I said, it's so crazy. But I also wanted to share I didn't know what I was going to share. We've been talking around the houses, but in the sense that, like, one thing my cousin said to me, and I remember he said to me, and my other friend was telling me, because she always helps me with self-tape, big up Juliet, but she was just like, we were always told, like, acting is the one thing, focus on it, you got to be so disciplined, especially we'd always been meant to feel like underdogs because, we didn't go down the university route of it. However, it's like we're in a day and age where someone's a lawyer in the daytime and in the night they're a content creator and this and that, and you just don't know which. And my cousin always says something. He applied for Big Brother the other day. He's like, yeah,
Big Brother. That's
but he was just like, yeah, because it's coming back. But he was like, we just got to live. Nice. We've got to live, because I have seen in the past when I've like kind of been holding out for like, oh, my friends will be like, we're going on holiday. One, I've either got first find out plan, because listen, I can't, when you're self-employed, you got my dots and I's, I need to make sure, like, the days of just live it faster than come back and be like, mommy, I'm suffering, like, I'm an adult, I've got to put my dots and I's. Even just yesterday, my friend was like, shall we just do a quick Malta? Should we go to DLT? I was like,
are you going? Which one, Iowa?
No, not my friend. No, my friend was one of my other friends I was with yesterday. She's like, come on, let's go. Last year, I was a bit maybe it was partially my grief on the avoidance side. I was like, yeah, come, let's go. There was a couple
turning up, man.
Yeah, last year I was really
turning
up. But the thing is, I was turning up, but I was hiding my.
You went to his birthday party as well.
His birthday.
You know, the one with the African drums, isn't it?
Oh, was that your birthday?
His birthday, yeah.
The one that you did. Okay, yeah. But I won't lie. Some of that was me being avoidant and not dealing with my grief, because I remember coming
up though, you were having a whale of a time.
Yeah, but this is what is smoking mirrors, because you can be having a whale of a time, but I was also trying to drown. I was, because I don't like people always assuming that people having fun is trying to hide. I was really, and that's why I was kind of like sitting here like, did I have too much fun? What was I doing something wrong? No, I was genuinely living, and for the first time I wasn't overthinking, and overthinking as much. I was just literally in a moment. And let's be real, when you are comfortable, you can do that. Like, I still didn't, like I say, when I say acting back to back, I don't literally mean every single, the first two, the 9 months into the 3 months one, that was literally like they overlapped. But when I finished the one in March, I even said, April, I'm tired. I didn't start auditioning again till the end of April. And then literally 2nd of May, 3rd of May morning, I got told my dad had passed away. And I feel like the month of May was a bit of a blur.
Anyway, it's just
yeah.
right, anyway.
But it's fine. I feel like the month of May was a bit of a blur, but I kind of was like, I can sit here. When I came back from his funeral, I think it was that sober silence of, he's really gone. And in a way, his death kind of maybe ignited something in me to live. Like, I went to Afro Nation last year. Something I would have thought
That's
I'm too
mad.
big
Was that
to...
like a quarter life crisis?
No, it wasn't a quarter life crisis. I got a
yeah?
free ticket from, and so I just had to sort out my flight
one,
and
Ghana?
stuff. No, just the one in Portugal. Obviously,
okay.
they'd got a bad rap, so, obviously everyone was going DLT Malta, which was obviously fantastic as well. But I remember thinking, when the person even said it, I said, like, you're big age, you're going to...
No, but the lineups are cold though, so...
But I was thinking, you know what I mean? Big age festival. Should I not have been doing that when I was in my 20s? Like, I'm thinking back in Iron Apple Mali. I've done my partying. And I was like, actually, and I went and I had a great time. And even though, I had a great time. So what I'm trying to say is like, when my cousin said that whole thing is that we just need to live. Like, even though that actress that I'd said as well before, in the stillness, live, because we don't want to then because what happens when you are working, I was like, like people invite me somewhere when I'm doing 8 shows a week, or I'm working 6 days, actors, our schedule, we're working, especially if you're in theatre, you're working in the evening when people are being social. So I'm coming to parties late, I'm coming, unless it's on a Sunday, like your thing was on a Sunday. So that's how I was able to come, or was on a bank. I don't know what it was, but it was
Sunday. It's usually Sundays now.
Yeah, so it was a Sunday, so I was able to come. But if I was doing a show or whatever like that, I'm missing birthday dinners, I'm missing certain things. And I'm always like, I can't wait till I've got a break, and then I'll do something, and then I don't do it.
This can't come out.